Yo, welcome to my place. I'm your host, American Warhorse. Thank you for coming by and spending some time with me today. I appreciate it. Well, it's Thanksgiving Day. Did everybody go out and get their stretchy pants today or this week? It might not be a bad idea for some of us, especially if you're going to someone's place who just loves to cook and is actually good at it. That's the way it used to be for me back in the day. Going over for a family gathering at my parents' place at this time of year was something I looked forward to. Not only for the stupendously great meals that were prepared, but for the companionship and joy of being around my family, some of whom I might not have seen for quite a while. Later, when I had a family of my own, not only did we enjoy being there, but we had fun on the road trips as well. Now, it's very different. My kids are grown, they have their own lives, and sometimes it's tough to get together. That's why I try to take advantage of opportunities that come along during the year to try to be with them, even if it's just for a little while. By the way, a little thought I want to share with you parents of young kids and teenagers. Enjoy these times now. Those kids will grow up entirely too fast. I'll swear to you, I honestly feel like I was holding newborns just a few months ago. Now, they're all young professionals. One of them is even graduating college. Where did the time go? Well, rest assured, this time with your young family will pass before you know it. So enjoy it. Thanksgiving. What does it mean to you personally? I mean, besides the obvious things like being with family and friends, I'm talking about just for you. You know, it could be the silliest things, at least in the eyes of other people. Maybe finding that rare stamp or coin or baseball card you've been after for years, or completing a hobby project you've been working on for a long time. What you're thankful for should be important to you. Like I said, it could be anything. For me, there's a lot I'm thankful for. Being alive and breathing is at the top of the list. I mean, seriously. There have been several times in the recent past where I should be nothing more than a marker in the ground at a military cemetery someplace. By the grace of God Almighty, I'm not. What else am I thankful for? A lot, actually. You see, just like you, it's been a year full of ups and downs. It's called life. One of the ups was the softball team I play for winning another championship. Another is meeting some pretty good people via this thing called the internet. I'm also in pretty good health, all things considered. And there are many more things I'm grateful for. Being able to worship freely in a country that was founded upon it. Being able to exercise my rights, more or less. But that's another thing that I'm not going to get into. The downs, yeah, there's been a few. My mom passed away during the early summer. Her passing brought to a close a chapter of my life. With the exception of an aunt, an entire generation is gone. Uncles, aunts, older neighbors, among others. An entire generation has now passed on to the next life. For me personally, it's a bit of a strange concept to grasp. I've also struggled with other losses, both huge and small. It's been very, very tough. By the way, for those of you who have helped me cope during those hard times, I want to tell you how grateful I am to you. Thank you. Now, I've got something to show you. This is a cornucopia. Hope everybody can see that. Pull it back a little bit. Okay? We here in America use it as a symbol for a good harvest. It's also called the horn of plenty. and the horn of abundance. Its origins are rooted in Greek mythology. There are actually two stories about it. The most common one centers on Zeus. The story goes that when he was a baby, his mother Rhea tried to hide him from his father Kronos by putting him in a cave on Mount Ida on the island of Crete. A goat and a nymph were put in charge of taking care of the baby Zeus. One day, while the goat was looking after him, little Zeus got a bit rambunctious, as boys are prone to do, and broke off one of the goat's horns. The nymph then took the horn, filled it with fruits and herbs, and gave it back to Zeus so he could eat from it. Zeus used his powers so that the horn would provide a never-ending source of sustenance for whoever happened to own it. Now, the second story comes from the adventures of Heracles, or Hercules, as the Romans would call him. Heracles was the son of Zeus and a mortal woman named Alcmene. The story goes that Heracles and a Paramoi god named Aculoos, sorry, I got that wrong, Aculoos, would wrestle to find out who would be the better suitor for a princess named Deianira. Well, during the match, Aculoos transformed himself into a bull, at which point Heracles broke off one of his horns. He then presented it to the daughters of Aculoos, who were known collectively as the Aculoids. They filled it with fruits and gave it back to Hercules. Now, I'm going to try to say this word. Thus, the Karastis Athphanosis, as the Greeks called the cornucopia, came into being. Oh, here's a fun fact. If you decide to play a little Scrabble, that's a 16-point word. I'm just saying. Here's an idea. I know the cornucopia shows that it's full of great things to eat, as it should be. But let's consider this. How about taking this and filling it with all those things you're grateful for and have been blessed with? It could be whatever, because it's yours. You don't have to share it with anybody. So put whatever you want in it. Things like, hey, I made the high school football team, or I got a scholarship. I got that promotion and raise I've been wanting. Whatever it is, put it in there. See, I think of it like this. God gives you a new one of these every single day that you wake up. It represents what you'll do today to fill it up. Maybe you'll be a blessing to someone in need in spite of some personal things you're going through. Maybe do an act of kindness for a stranger. Maybe learn something new or teach others. Make a move to improve your personal situation. Whatever it is, it'll go into the cornucopia, including your mistakes. You see, some of those mistakes might turn out to be blessings once you learn from them. And you know what's great? God will give you a new one tomorrow morning and you can try again. You're never going to be perfect. That's not how this works. But what you can do is take every opportunity to keep improving yourself and your situation, and perhaps that of your family. I'd like to share this verse with you. It's from the New King James Bible I use, the Warrior's Bible. It's from Luke 6, verse 38. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. That kind of ties into that whole being a cheerful giver. That's the way I think of it, at least. Now, there is something I'd like to point out. We've all heard this at one time or another, but this time of year can be particularly rough for those who are alone. Now, I'm not talking about if you choose to be solitary. That's by choice. I'm talking about those people who have no one in their lives. Maybe it's that homeless person, especially if they're a veteran, because you see, they used to be part of something bigger than themselves. Now, they're feeling isolated and alone, and they remember those times they weren't. What about the neighbor who rarely, if ever, gets a visitor? And other examples. I'm going to take a guess that you know someone personally who's like that. I know I do. I also see it almost daily at the hospital I work at. I can tell you from personal experience how tough it is for those who are alone while lying in a hospital bed. Frankly, it sucks. You know, you can tell a lot about someone just by going into their room. I've often seen rooms where there are flowers and cards and visitors come and go. And there's the opposite, especially with the elderly. I'd go in and there's nothing there, not a card or a flower or anything in sight. Nada. That person's happy to just see me or the nurse, or for that matter, anybody. Now, I'm not trying to make you feel sad or unhappy or anything like that. That's not what this is about. But what I am going to say is this: there's a big uptick in the suicide rate during the holiday season. It's an unpleasant but very real fact. Look it up for yourself. If you know someone who's in trouble like that, maybe take the time to talk to them. Just be a friend. And if they're in even deeper trouble, you might want to give them the number for the suicide prevention hotline. The link is going to be in the description. Now, on a lighter note, speaking of links, you'll find links to some pretty terrific people you should get to know if you haven't already. You'll find their links in the description box too. Now, I'd like to leave you with this verse, if I may. It's from Revelation chapter 3, verse 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in to him and dine with him, and he with me. Well, enjoy your day and everything that comes with it. Joy, laughter, peace, football games, basketball games, and someone wants to argue, as it always does. Try to keep it civilized, okay? And one more thing. Try not to eat your way into oblivion. I know it's hard, but try. So until next time, may God bless you all. Have a great week and keep the faith.